say you met me, like you just did, and how soon would you kiss me, and how soon would you go back home with me?
I don't know. If I had time.
If you like him a lot and he likes you a lot, do you feel a need to wait a day or two? Or
No.
So you would go the same day?
Yes.
That's all I need to know. Get your passport.
It's not for lame men who don't get women to go overseas to try to get women. That's not what's happening. You're getting 304s thinking that they like you. There's a huge difference. There's men that are actually looking for love and companionship. So they're looking for women that cook, clean, appreciative, want to be stay-at-home wives. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know some gentlemen that have got a wife from another country. But a lot of you men are on this app and all you're doing is going there and getting women that sell box for a living. And you seem to think, oh, I gotta turn down all these dates.
Man, when I travel to DR, I turn down women and turn down dates because I have too many options. And I don't know how many people can say that in the US. So get your passport, man.
They don't want you, bro. You don't think those women know you're a lame American, just like you're lame to them there? It doesn't change. Women are women. So many of you men forget you still don't look good. You still don't have the characteristics of what they want. You're still poor here in America. Those women are just using you to try to get a visa. There are women who do want an American man, and they do want love, but they also want a handsome man or a man that's in shape, because a lot of those men in those other countries, believe it or not, health is wealth.
I've been in Brazil for almost 72 hours now, and I want to say that I want to stay here. I no longer want to live in the United States. I feel a lot safer. I feel a lot better. I can be myself. Like, I was approaching these women, and I almost tripped over the chair, and they didn't care. I still got their number, and I'm meeting one of them tonight.
¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? Venezuela. USA.
Estados Unidos.
Yes. Unidos Estados. USA. I don't know how to say it.
No sabes hablar español.
Poquito español. Venezuela. Bonita mujer.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
What is happening with them going overseas to a country where, because most of the videos that I've seen, dudes barely speak Spanish. They don't speak any Portuguese when they go to Brazil. Like it's the dudes barely know the language. They're basically just like picking up women the same way they would do here. It's just a little bit easier there because it's not as, whatever they're doing isn't as familiar. Their culture, the way that they talk, the way that they speak isn't as familiar. It's exotic. I feel like the women here should identify with that, because what do you hear about British dudes all the time?
The accent.
What do you hear about Spanish dudes all the time? What do you hear about foreign men in America?
I don't understand what they're saying, but
there's an aesthetic, right? There's an attraction there. So is it really that surprising that there's a like attraction for American men to foreign women? That's not really surprising to me. I don't know if I see the problem.
I don't see a problem in going over, visiting another country, and then,
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's wild. It is wild. Like, if you're going to go to a whole nother continent for cooch, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Like, you can't do it and not acknowledge that that's a wild thing. That's a wild admission. Like, I gotta go to a whole nother country. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing that
or maybe you don't have to, but I'm going to. Like, that's a stretch. I've done a lot of things for some pussy in my life, but never gone to another continent. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's a level of commitment you need to acknowledge. Like, sex is a serious thing in your life if that's what you're doing. As long as that's acknowledged, though, like, there's nothing inherently wrong with traveling for sex. Because if there is, there's an entire industry of OnlyFans to get flued out models that we need to address.
Sure.
So there's nothing inherently wrong with traveling for sex. I guess the predatory part, you would have to point to me where women are being exploited. Are they taking these women? Are they taking them against their will? Are they making them do something they don't want to?
Sure.
Or did they meet a foreign man and, engage the way that you would see a lot of American women do the same thing with foreign men?
I don't know if there's anything wrong with it, but like you said, there are a few things that are a little weird with it. Like, if I'm going to another country, of course, like I can see somebody being like, "Look, I'm gonna get down here. I'm gonna holla at some honeys," but that's not the only.
Like, what else do you do on vacation? Yeah, no, see, okay, if that's the only reason why you're going there, then yeah, there's some self-reflection. But at the same time, like, when is it okay to start being Peter Police? You know what I'm saying? Like, there are so many things. So many sexual identities. There are so many kinks. There are so many things now about sex that are so fluid. And I just, it's so interesting to see the things that people get rigid about. So me going to Argentina or me going to Ecuador or me going to Brazil or me going, anywhere down south of the equator, right? To go meet women is predatory and it's bad and it's weird. But then making money off of those same type of men virtually through an app is okay. That seems very subjective.
I agree.
Right? And so it's like, based off of what you're comfortable with, anything is going to make you either comfortable or uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But if we're just talking about general morality, I think that you're safe until you start making people do what they don't want to do, until you start exploiting them, until you start, if this was a thing of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna leverage something against you to make you have sex with me. I don't think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Even to a certain degree, like if you was going down there paying for it. So prostitutes can exist here in America, but not other places of the world. Mm-hmm. Sex work here should be advocated for, but not in other places to American tourists. Sure. It's just very arbitrary morality. So like, I guess I can see where people are uncomfortable about it because there's this perception of the big bad American man, tricking the senseless foreign woman.
Right.
But it's no more that case for that than it would be for you meeting a foreign man here in America.
In the case of two people just getting together, I mean that person, that woman, is also a consenting
adult. She can say no.
Yeah.
And then if it goes any further than that, then we're talking about something completely different. Yeah. But that's not passport bros.
No.
That's not. If you think it's weird, I don't blame you because again, it is literally you traveling thousands of miles, paying a lot of money for sex. Yeah. And you would think that you would just get better with having sex here before you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I don't see anything inherently wrong about it.
No, and then I guess the only other thing that I feel weird about is people who are like, "Come on, bro, you gotta get your passport. Look at this chick. She's willing to go home with me right now. Get your passport. Let's go."
No, that's weird, right? But then at the same time, if your homeboy was scrolling through showing you videos of chicks at the club, oh, we got to get down there. We got to hurry up. Blah, blah, blah. We got to get on these hoes. Like, it's not that much different. It's just the guy who's telling you to get your passport knows a little bit more. He got a little bit more money, and he doesn't have that much success here at home. The circumstances are different, but they both looking to do the same thing.
Yeah. No, okay. That's fair.
And it's not evil. It may be weird. It may be misguided. It may be wasteful, but it's not evil. I don't think that those guys are out to well, I can't speak for everybody. Let me not talk about everybody's morality, but I don't think the action of getting your passport to travel and meet women is a sadistic thing.
No.
It's just I also don't feel like people acknowledge the type of problems that men have in the dating sphere today. They don't adequately address it, and they treat it as if it's just belly aching and complaining. So if that's the type of response you get in comparison to what you receive abroad, it can be a stark contrast. You are literally creating the void for people to fall into doing that because you are so far towards the polar opposite of what it is that they're talking about.
And to that point, I can see where, like, as a single man, like a person can see the dating world as, you know, it's hard to meet certain women. Certain women are of maybe a higher status because of their perceived beauty, or maybe they just have a higher paying job, or for whatever reason they just see, you know, certain women in their own country as unattainable for whatever reason. And the dating industry is just terrible as is, right?
Yeah.
And so they find that it may be easier to go to some of these countries and get what they're looking for out of the dating world.
Well, I can tell you what, there's no one in Argentina asking him whether or not he drives a Tesla or makes $250,000 a year.
Or get me a Birkin.
You know what I mean? Nobody, they're just not doing that. Yeah. So there's not a hyper focus, I feel like, or at least so much on the
material side
of it. Yeah. It's like the Western idea of being in a stable relationship is at least partially built on finances. Mm-hmm. Where I don't know. I can't speak specifically to it, but I feel like outside of that dichotomy, it's not like that. Like, you know.
That's fair.
At least that hasn't been what I've seen or you know what I've experienced outside of the U.S.
That's fair. And I think a lot of the hate that this section of people are getting or this community of people are getting, has probably a lot to do with the fact that they're going overseas and they're seeing Hispanic women and Asian women as opposed to black women.
But then, okay, and I'm trying not to do this whataboutism.
I think that's what.
Sure. And hey, look, I see it too. You know what I'm saying? I see it too. Hey, but at the same time, it's like, okay, if that upsets you, right? You have a problem with that, and you're well within your rights to have a problem with that if that's how you feel. Do you have a problem with the folks here on American soil that's feeling that way? You know, it's a one thing to go to an entire country where no one looks like you and find another mate. It's another thing to be in your home and work overtime to find a mate that doesn't look like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if one is to be criticized because of that, then you really have to turn a critical eye as to how somebody could come to that same conclusion at home. Mm-hmm. You know, you just do. You just do. And there have been much more extreme variants of that type of divestment that we've seen here at home than anything comparing to Passport Bros.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know, man. I guess I get the uncomfortableness behind it, but it's just another part of the sex industry that I hear people advocate for so often, and now all of a sudden
there's a problem.
It's a problem, yeah, and I don't like that. I don't like that when we make certain areas of life very liberal for some people, or make the evolution of that space be very open for some people and closed off for others.
Yeah.
You know, if we're talking about enlightenment of thought, it should be enlightenment for everyone, not just some.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just hope that, you know, if you see me in Cancun or Puerto Rico, you don't take these words too literally.
Yikes. Give us your thoughts on Passport Bros in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and come back next week for more content.
Absolutely. And right here should be a video that's similar to this one. So make sure you check that out and make sure you subscribe. Anytime we get any information about literally anything like this, we'll be sure to talk about it.